Bruce?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's an accountant.
Welcome to the Hillsborough Township Planning Board public meeting of May 8th, 2014. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the Sunshine Law. Roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Wagner.
Here.
Mr. Julian.
Here.
Mr. Conard.
Here.
Dr. Marulli.
Here.
Mr. Merdinger.
Present.
Mr. Peason.
Here.
Vice Chairman Cohen.
Here.
And Chairman Dr. Cerisi.
Here, and Lucille.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Committeeman Delcourt and Deputy Mayor Burchett. Sorry about that.
Don't say sorry. It was your fault, not yours.
First item of business is disposition of the minutes of the April 10, 2014 meeting.
Mr. Chairman, I have a correction.
Yes?
On page 4, I guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs down, where it says Mr. Merdinger. On the third line, it says that there are bricks on the side of the landfill which stacks 10 to 20 feet high. They weren't stacked. The landfill was 10 to 20 feet high, so just change stacks to is and you're okay.
Oh, okay, yes, okay, right.
Nobody ever stacks bricks in a landfill.
Stacks put R.
No, which is. Let's see,
Unless you want to use engineering language, which be,
it's which is 10 to 20 feet high describes the landfill, not the bricks. So just say is, and then that will clarify that. Any other?
I'll move the minutes as amended.
Second?
second,
Okay, roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Julian.
Yes.
Mr. Conard.
Yes.
Dr. Marulli.
Yes.
Mr. Merdinger.
Yes.
Mr. Peason.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cohen.
Yes.
Committeeman Delcourt.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett.
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Cerisi.
Yes. Next is the resolution for the Hillsborough Youth Sports Junior Raiders application for the Triangle Complex.
So moved.
second,
Any comment? Okay, roll call.
Yes.
All regular members, Lucia.
All right. Mr. Wagner.
Yes.
Mr. Julian.
Yes.
Mr. Conard.
Yes.
Dr. Marulli.
I can't vote on that.
That's right, you were there. Excuse me. Mr. Merdinger.
yes,
Vice Chairman Cohen.
Yes.
Committeeman Delcourt.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett.
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Cerisi.
Yes. Okay, any business from the floor for items not on the agenda? Seeing none, we go to the public hearing agenda, which is Country Classics, Phase 4D. There's an amended preliminary and amended final, which are files 14PB07MJ and 14PB03MJF. Mr. Savo?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Nice to see you. Haven't been here in a while. All these happy faces. I was sharing with Mr. Merdinger when I looked at this file, which goes back over 30 years. The engineer was Mr. Heibel, the attorney was Mr. Savo, and one of the members was Mr. Merdinger. Over 30 years. That's some service. Mr. Bernstein was only 10 at the time.
I only wish, thank you. And he was already spending his weekends in Vegas.
He already had his beer.
We are here seeking a amended preliminary, amended final. The application was previously approved by this board. When we filed the application, we were seeking to modify the open space plan with the intent of merging certain parts of the open space with adjacent properties maintained by, owned and operated by part of the Van Cleef family. Part of the open space that we're going to address tonight, and we've amended our application so that we're not seeking to reduce the open space. But part of this property has been in farmland since colonial times, and the Van Cleef family has been farming it for over 100 years. So what we're seeking from the board tonight is that the open space would remain, but the farming activity that presently is in operation on the site could remain. The board would have to agree to that, and Mr. Heibel is going to go over an additional change with the board. And then it would be up to the governing body to enter into an agreement with a tenant farmer to allow the farming to continue on the open space. Having said that, I'm going to ask Mr. Heibel to be sworn.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
For the record, Robert Heibel, professional engineer, surveyor, planner. We can sit.
Just, yeah.
I need a mic. And may we stipulate Mr. Heibel's qualifications, Mr. Chairman?
Of course. Please proceed.
I have two exhibits. I've pre-marked them. The exhibit on the left is Exhibit A1, and the exhibit on the right is Exhibit A2. Highlighted in green is the last portion of the open space from Country Classics. It's approximately just over 25 acres of land. And as Mr. Sabo said, the original application as filed was going to request that the southern approximately 7 acres of land, which is currently farmed and been farmed by Jack Van Cleef, who's in the audience tonight, be merged with 3 adjacent lots along Millstone River Road, 2 of which Jack Van Cleef owns, and 1 owned by Cindy Norfleet, Neil Van Cleef's daughter. That application, that portion of the application was withdrawn. We had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Rydell and Mr. Bernstein on the 24th of April. We discussed it, and subsequent to that meeting, I wrote a letter to the board withdrawing that portion. The request is that Mr. Van Cleef be given the opportunity through an agreement which would ultimately be with the Township Committee to actually use the land as he's currently using the southern acres. And that's, once again, about 7 acres. He has 2 horse paddocks on the northern portion of the 7 acres, and then about 6 acres that he takes the hay off for his horses. The original approval, as we can see, had a walkway going from Bamboo Court directly north, ultimately going past the detention basin and then out to Millstone River Road. In order to allow them and landscaping within that area, plus 8 park benches, more than they have at Disney World within that area, and some bird boxes. What we would propose to do is to eliminate that portion of the walkway, and they actually extend the walkway out to the public road, which is about 400 feet. So overall, there would be an elimination of a total of 800 feet of a 5-foot wide cinder walkway, and a relocation of the previously shown landscaping along the border. And there is some landscaping that would still be eliminated in the parcel. Portion of the discussion was, should the board approve this so that Country Classics doesn't benefit? We came up with a construction cost estimate for the eliminated 800 feet of walkway for the 8 benches that would be along that 800 feet, 1 bench every 100 feet, and the landscaping. Your township engineer, Mr. White, actually issued a memorandum to the board dated May 7, 2014. And although he's not here tonight, I spoke to him after this was issued and came up with $20,780, about $5,000, $6,000 more than us, but we would agree with his cost. We made that known at the meeting that we expected his cost to be higher no matter what, and that we would review that, so the applicant would accept that. The other 2 conditions, should the board approve this, we were asked if, instead of dedicating the open space to the township, which is contiguous with Phase 4D, is to dedicate the land, which is once again the last remaining open space for Country Classics, within 30 days of a resolution of acceptance by this board as it is memorialized. The applicant would agree to do that. Secondly, we requested, if that were to occur, whatever amount of money, in this case the over $20,000, would be also assigned and given to Hillsborough Township within that same time frame. The applicant would also agree to do that. So the net result is there would be no loss of land to Hillsborough Township. We would be eliminating a total of 800 feet of a 5-foot wide cinder walkway, with the hope that when Jack Van Cleef goes to the township committee, that they would allow him to remain farming that 7 acres of land and keep the 2 horse paddocks. Besides coming to this board, we went to the Environmental Commission on the 28th of April. I presented the same application to them. They have issued to the board a report dated May 5th, 2014, recommending that the planning board approve this request. We also have a report from the Historic Commission, which I didn't go to, but they also recommended approval of this application. Their report is dated April 24th, 2014. And the only other report that we have in there, besides Mr. Rydell's, which sums up the application again, is one from the fire marshal, and that's regarding the roads, and he says we need fire hydrants along the street. And we, of course, know that and have been putting fire hydrants along the street all the time. The last report was one that we got from the outside agency, and that's from the Somerset County Planning Board. And they have no engineering items. They want to check for $3,500 for a GPS monument, and they want us to file the map in the county clerk's office. And that, in sum and substance, without going on, is what the application is about.
Thank you, Mr. Heibel. Mr. Saville? Yes?
I have, unless there are questions of the board of Mr. Van Cleef, who's farming the land, we have no other testimony.
Okay. I just want to first go to our professionals. If you have any questions for Mr. Heibel or comments.
A comment if I missed her.
Sure.
Dr. Cerisi. Mr. Heibel also provided to the staff evidence of the easement that would take a walker from to which he's pointing now, from the end of the property near the basin down to River Road, so there would be continuous access for the public. And all the other evidence that Mr. Heibel referred to regarding the exhibits and everything are all included in the board's packet.
Thank you. Mr. Bernstein?
I think Mr. Heibel accurately summarized our meeting, and I appreciate, as does I think Mr. Rydell, the assistance of the Van Cleefs in coming to a resolution of this matter and to clean up some outstanding items involving some open space issues.
Okay, thank you. Board have any questions for Mr. Heibel?
I have a comment.
Okay.
One of the things I liked when I saw this conceptually, and just want to bring up to the board, is I like the ideas where you don't have people, I forget exactly what the distance is, Mr. Heibel, but how far on the original is that from the back of those homes?
Mr. Burchett is slightly over 100 feet.
So I don't like the idea of having a walkway less than 100 feet from these people's backyards. It's potentially a problem for us to deal with in the future. And so when I saw this originally, I kind of liked the idea that the walkways are staying in the back, away from the homes, and it just looked like a good idea to me.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Just a comment. This property's been the Van Cleef family for generations, and they've maintained it very well. And I know Jack's son is operating a horse farm out there. I know that hay ground which they want to maintain is much needed for that operation.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. Mr. Bernstein, do I have to open to public now? Yes, so motion to open to public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Any comments from the public? Yes.
You can't have something to say, Susan, really. You can't.
Yes.
Unless you're coming up here to compliment the whole deal.
Susan Gullah, Ford Hunt Club Road. If Mr. Van Cleef stopped farming the 7 acres or ceased to use it as paddocks, it would just revert to being open space?
Actually, since we're going to turn over a deed to the township within 30 days of hopefully the approval, the memorialized approval, the township will own it as open space. At any point in time, should they not want to continue the lease arrangement with Mr. Van Cleef, it still is the township open space.
See, that wasn't hard, Steve.
I assumed that was owned by the town.
No.
The deed was being transferred over.
No, that's fine. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Well, I knew more than assumed.
All right. It's fine. It's all clear now. Any other questions? Okay, did you, Mr. Saba, did you want to bring up Mr. Van Cleef, or?
Only if you have questions for him.
Do any of us have questions for Mr. Van Cleef to have him sworn in? No, there are none. So, do you have any other witnesses?
No, sir.
So, motion to close public.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Board? Do we have any other final comments or considerations?
Chairman, we're just acting on the PB07.
Oh, yes. Eric, could you walk us through how we vote on this now, please?
What you're voting on initially is on the amended preliminary file 14 PB07MJ amended. And then you'll be voting separately on the final.
Okay. So the first motion would have to be for amended preliminary 14 PB07MJ amended.
Motion for 14 PB07MJ amended.
Second.
Okay.
This is with all the standard conditions and as per the requirements of the various board professionals and the testimony of Mr. Heibel.
Okay. We're good? Roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Mr. Connard?
Yes.
Dr. Marulli?
Yes.
Mr. Merdinger?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cohen?
Yes.
Committeeman Delcourt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Cerisi?
Yes. Eric, we do the... No.
We're now seeking the approval on the amended final, which is consistent with the preliminary. There's been no changes in the last 2 seconds.
You sure?
The only change in the final subdivision application is that we've now agreed to deed over the 25 acres, not with 4D. So I need to revise the final plat. Once the deed is filed, I'll then cite the book and the page number, and that will be the change.
Okay.
But only after the council, after the committee approves.
No, we're going to give the township the land now, no matter what.
Okay.
No, 1 second. Yes, sir.
It's a finalization of the 1998 resolution regarding the land in question.
Yeah. Been out there a long time. Eric, do I have to do anything else, like open and close the public hearing again, just for this?
Yeah, quickly.
I do?
Yes, you
Okay.
do.
All right, so because this is technically a separate hearing and resolution, motion to open for, open
Motion to
public.
open.
For
Public.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any comments from the public? Susan? No? Okay, good. All right. Motion to close public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, now we can vote? Okay. Roll call, please.
Yes. Mr. Wagner?
Wait, we have to do a motion. Okay, the motion was for public hearing, not for the resolution.
So move 14 PB03 MJF.
That's what Wes is on.
Second?
Okay, now we can do the roll call.
Yes. Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Mr. Conard?
Yes.
Dr. Maruli?
Yes.
Mr. Murden?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cohen?
Yes.
Committeeman Delcourt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Yes.
And Chairman Dr. Suisse.
Yes.
Thank you very
Gentlemen,
much.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Too many motions. 2 minutes. Makes your head spin. All right. Mr. Rydell, the other application, are they waiting outside or something?
Mr. Heibel is representing.
Oh, Mr. Heibel representing? Okay, very good. Are you representing too, Mr. Saville?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm at least happy to see that Mr. Saville is here.
Groundhog Day.
Well, that's efficient.
I'm at least happy to see Mr. Saville is here.
I'm saying they're waiting outside, no, they're waiting right in front of me.
Mr. Heibel.
Mr. Heibel's always my co-counsel.
Okay, all right, well, very good.
We're here for a final of a preliminary subdivision. It was formerly the, what was it referred to, Bob?
The Warden.
The Warden subdivision. Now, South France Estates and Northbridge Development is the new owner. There's no changes in the preliminary. We have a review letter from the engineer, which we agreed to comply with.
We actually have signed construction plans. Once South Branch Estates purchased the property, which is Dominic Caruso under Northbridge Properties, we came back to the board and asked for I prepared the affidavit of compliance. The board reviewed it. We had each and every outside approval, and the planning board office confirmed that, and the board actually signed the plans about a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. This is an application on the same property for final subdivision, and all it is the preparation of the final subdivision plat and all the required meets and bounds descriptions. The letter that I have is from Mr. White. It's dated April 22nd, 2014. He had 11 comments on the mapping portion. I've complied with all 11, but any approval should be subject to that. He also reviewed each and every one of the 7 meets and bounds descriptions and found all 7 acceptable. With that, there's no other outside agencies. We had a prior letter from the county. The only open-ended matter with the county is prior to filing the map, the applicant would have to post a check for in lieu of the frontage improvements. The applicant had previously agreed to do that. And once again, another GPS monument check. So there are no outstanding items on this application.
Mr. Rydell?
No, nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Nothing, okay. Board members, any questions, comments?
When was this from? Like, this was from a while back, or?
2009.
2009?
Right.
Goes so far back, Mr. Burchett was the chairman.
Oh, the fun days.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, the discussion was about the route of the road.
Access was an issue.
Access was an issue, and I think the other one was one of the early detention basin discussions we had as to...
This is actually for the board's recollection. This turned out as a private road that the board requested the applicant to do, and the applicant agreed, and subsequently the board approved it as a private road. And our only difficulty was getting Somerset County to allow that to be so. We
Oh, a cut into South Branch.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's come back to me now, yeah.
Was there any environmental issues about it? I say LOI?
There was an LOI. There's a wetland. It's actually on a separate lot. It has to be maintained by the homeowners association, and that's still valid.
Okay. Did it ever go in front of the environmental commission, or?
Yes, we did at that point in time.
Okay, because I don't see a report in there, but I don't know. I don't see a report in there.
It was handled, that was all I remember.
Okay.
It was a pretty full hearing at the time.
Yeah.
4 years. So I think it was pretty thorough.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's not new, really, it's not new business, yeah. Okay, motion to open public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any comment from the public? Seeing none, motion to close public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we'll need the motion for approval.
I'll make the motion that for file number 14, PB05MJF.
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Julian?
Yes.
Mr. Conard?
Yes.
Dr. Maruli?
Yes.
Mr. Merdinger?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Oh, Vice Chairman Cohen, excuse me. Committeeman Delcourt?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Yes.
Chairman Dr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I would note, the draft has not started.
Yay!
Thank God you were here, Bob. That's how we were able to do it. Sorry. I got too close to the mic.
20 minutes, I think there's a record.
Yes, I suppose so. So you have a communication in your packets. The only reason I mention this is the new affordable housing rules. Bruce, tell them what it looks like we're going to get for Hillsborough.
It appears that our number has gone up by 300 units.
What? This is the state you live in. 300 more units
We're
will be
still-
assigned.
Aren't we under the judges?
We are. Yeah, we are a court town. We're not a COA town, but we still have an obligation.
Yeah, the judge interprets the obligation for us, so.
When's that up?
Well, there are various phase-ins,
Right.
and we're waiting for legal counsel to provide us further details.
Oh, it just made me sick.
Yeah. It's New Jersey. But anyway, the thing is that this session is being advertised by the county for early June, and June 9th, I believe it is, and you might want to go and pick up some information on this.
Bruce, I recall that we had an overage, so does that account for our overage call?
Only slightly, and we still have to check, because the rules are now changed, and what the staff are trying to do at COA is to make things simple so that everybody can understand them, including planners. We're hoping that we can look into those numbers more carefully and see if there are changes to the bonus credits, for example, and other items that we can challenge. It's basically because we have so much open, available, developable land that we're being so severely affected.
That damn open space.
No, not the open, just undevelopable, or undeveloped.
Yeah, it's open space.
The last 3 rounds, they tried to make it simpler and easier to understand, too, so I have no confidence that they're going to do that this time.
Our legal bills from understanding the...
Well, let's try it slightly. Let the board be aware of the following. These are draft rules.
Oh, they're draft rules.
They are draft rules. These are the rules that were required by the Supreme Court when they rendered their decision last fall that the commission took a while to get, including reinstating COA.
Judicial activism at its finest.
That's right. These are draft. They are out for comments. These are not final. They may be amended, up, down, sideways, etc. I can almost guarantee that once they are adopted, they will be appealed. The fair housing people are already questioning that they meet the requirements. I expect everyone else at some point along the way to question it, and I would suspect there will be another round of litigation as to whether or not they actually do comply with the situation. That is not to, however, give the town nor the board the consideration that we are sort of out of the woods, but for the purposes of the situation now, be advised that these are draft rules.
Just an esoteric discussion about it for 3 seconds. If a town decides they want to sue, aren't they risking the fact that once they do, then a developer is going to wind up looking for a builder's remedy?
Well, the issue, well, let the board understand the following. These rules go back to, these are the 2013 rules. So if you are out there, quote, exposed, close quote, i.e. no court protection, no plan to COA. You are a builder's remedy candidate now, if you have any desire to find out.
We are not a candidate.
You are not. If you have any question, you can go on the Hill Wallach website, because they monitor it. You are a court-protected town for round 3, as you were for, and that was a decision made by the committee a while back to seek court protection. Therefore, the builder's remedy issue does not become an issue unless and until the town refuses to comply with whatever rules there are. And as Bruce mentioned, one of the confusing parts of the rules is it talks about a phase-in of the obligation. And no one is quite sure how that's going to come about and how that's going to happen, and whether there's a measurement as to, depending on the phase-in situation, whether you will increase, decrease, or remain the same based upon available land, what's been built, your prior obligations, situations, etc. There is talk about the possibility of RCAs again. For those of you who know, that's the regional contribution agreements, and which was supposedly outlawed. And then the last but not least question, whether there will actually be a COA when this is all over.
And the only other thing I would say is, in terms of suing, no town does it by themselves, really. It's the League of Municipalities that does it on behalf of everybody. So that's the coverage.
But to the extent that we, any one of these roundtables is always appreciated and desired, if nothing more than everybody sit around and see whether or not they read the rules the same way everybody else reads the rules.
Yeah. Okay. That being it, Bruce, do we have to cancel anything right now?
Yes. The business meeting.
The business meeting, which would have been?
On May 22nd.
Okay, so we don't have any business for the May 22nd business meeting. Motion to cancel?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's done. So, Bruce, next meeting is?
June 5.
June 5. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.